Hey, what's up everybody? I've got something super exciting to talk about because Mount & Blade 2 Bannerlord has just rolled out a fresh update for consoles that's bringing a ton of fixes and improvements straight from the developers. And it's honestly one of those patches that feels like it touches on almost every corner of the game. This newest release includes all the work they put into version 1.3.14 on PC and folds it into the console builds, which means that if you've been waiting for stability, improvements, quest bug fixes, and just a smoother experience overall, you're going to feel the difference when you jump back into Calradia. Right off the bat, one of the things they've done for the War Sales expansion in this update is add fresh voiceovers for Gunner's World Map travel. If you're out there sailing the seas, taking on missions and exploring naval content, you'll now hear new commentary and narration tied directly to events, quests, and locations you encounter during the naval storyline. That helps immerse you a bit more and gives more context to what's happening around you out on the open waters. They've also fixed some issues specific to the naval experience. There were moments where some of the naval storyline voice lines didn't match up properly with the text you were seeing, which could be jarring or confusing, and that's now corrected. The focus point bonuses that should have been applied at the start of new campaigns weren't always kicking in properly, so those are now working as intended too. And for those who like to play through the naval narrative and keep tabs on clan policies, there was a bug where a policy called naval wardenships was incorrectly affecting mercenary clans, but that's now been sorted out. They also corrected stats that were missing or incorrect for rescued siblings that you might bring into your playthrough during War Sales quests. Of course, one of the biggest areas this patch tackles is stability. There were quite a few crash scenarios that players on consoles and PC alike have run into, and the developers went through and squashed a whole bunch of them. That includes battle-related crashes, where combat or physics issues could bring your game down, and certain quest transitions that could crash during specific boss fights. There were even campaign map crashes linked to pirate party handling under some conditions, and situations like launching a siege after lifting a naval blockade or losing all ships during a blockade battle could cause instability. All of those are addressed, giving you a much more reliable experience no matter how heated the fight or complex the campaign situation you're in. On top of crashes, there are also fixes that help core gameplay behave in ways you'd expect. The logic around alliances and war declarations was tightened up so that kingdoms don't randomly see you as ruler of multiple different kingdoms at the same time, which was definitely a weird thing that could happen and disrupt your immersion and strategic planning. They also fixed a quirky sound bug where a quest update sound could loop repeatedly after certain hideout events, which must have driven some players nuts hearing the same ding over and over. Now, it's worth remembering just how much has changed in the Bannerlord world over the past couple of major updates leading up to this one, because this patch sits on top of a foundation built by earlier work, including huge stuff like the introduction of stealth mechanics, deeper diplomacy systems with alliances and trade agreements, and even things like fast mode for campaign speed and dynasty progression. Those were part of the broader 1.3 series of updates and have shaped the way Bannerlord plays for a lot of people. In this particular batch of fixes, though, the focus was absolutely on polishing and refining what's already there. The voiceover additions bring more life to your naval adventures, the bug fixes smooth out campaign progression and policy quirks, and the crash resolutions tackle a wide range of scenarios that could unexpectedly interrupt play. If you think back to what the War Sales expansion brought when it first launched, a whole new way to wage war at sea and explore an expanded part of the world, this patch just reinforces that foundation so it feels less like a cool experiment and more like a stable, fully realized part of the game. I know a lot of you have probably already noticed how some of these fixes change your day-to-day play after you load up your game post-update. You don't get hit by bizarre bugs during quests as often, battles feel more stable, and transitions, whether into sieges, boss fights, or naval skirmishes, are far less likely to send you back to the console dashboard early. Those little quality of life improvements can make a massive difference over the course of a long campaign. And even though a lot of the major feature additions to the base game, things like improved diplomacy and stealth, aren't part of this specific patch in terms of new content, this update makes sure all those features work as intended on consoles too. That means if you're using alliances to manipulate kingdom dynamics, sneaking into towns with your stealth build, or just managing your army's morale and equipment, the underlying systems are more stable than before, and less prone to rare but frustrating issues.